All right, deep divers. Are you ready to go deep? Today, we are going to be diving into AI image generation.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, it's that thing that's changing faster than anyone can keep up with, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking at this YouTube video by ByCloud, who's been exploring all the latest advancements. And his latest video really got me wondering, like, are we at the point where AI can just create images that are basically indistinguishable from a real photo?
Mm.
And if so, what does that even mean for us?
Yeah, it's a question a lot of people are asking, and with good reason. I mean, the pace of innovation in this field is just incredible. You remember Dream Booth?
Oh, yeah.
When that came out, it just felt like magic. Like you could give it a couple pictures of your pet or something, and it could make these images of them doing all sorts of things. It was,
Dream Booth was a total game changer.
yeah.
Yeah, but what's so fascinating is like, ByCloud points out, even Dream Booth has kind of been surpassed at this point. The AI community is in like a constant state of just one-upmanship, like
Right.
pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's almost like a merging frenzy.
It is. It's a great way to put it. They're
Mhm.
just constantly combining the strength of all these different AI models
Yeah.
to create even more powerful ones. You can almost think about it like breeding different animals to get specific traits.
Okay, so I get the merging idea,
Yeah.
but how does it actually work? Is it just blending everything together?
Well, it's more nuanced than that. There's two main types of merging: classic merging and block merging. Classic merging is kind of like that blending idea,
Okay.
but block merging is where it gets really interesting. You can actually target very specific layers of the model
Oh, wow.
to control very particular aspects of the output. Imagine like being able to swap out just the eyes part of an AI model, like upgrading a camera lens for better portraits.
So there are layers in these models that correspond to like specific visual elements.
Yeah, exactly. That's the power of block merging. So, for example, there might be a layer that's specifically dedicated to generating hands.
Wow.
So if you merge a model that's really great at hands with another model that's not so good at hands, you can improve the hand generation in the final output.
That's so cool.
And then you have these things called mixes.
Oh, yeah.
Like recipes for combining models to get specific results.
Right, like the orange mixes.
Yeah.
Which are known for creating those super detailed and stylized illustrations.
Exactly.
Okay, so merging is already this huge leap forward.
Yeah.
But ByCloud also talks about something called LoRA.
Low rank adaptation. That is another game changer.
Okay.
It was originally designed for language models.
Hmm.
But someone figured out how to adapt it for image generation,
Wow.
and it's been revolutionary.
So how does LoRA work? Is it similar to fine-tuning?
It is, but it's much more efficient.
Wow.
Imagine LoRA like a set of filters that you can apply to the AI model, like Instagram filters, but way more powerful and way more specific. So instead of modifying the entire model, it adds these small focused layers that learn the specific task that you want it to do. It's kind of like adding a well-designed extension to your house instead of renovating the whole thing.
Oh, so it's less resource intensive and achieves better results.
Significantly.
Wow.
It's kind of similar to textual inversion, which also uses triggers to guide the model.
Right.
But LoRA has a much deeper impact on the model's output. The math behind it is actually quite clever.
I'll bet.
But the key takeaway is that LoRA makes things even more realistic.
Okay.
And then the AI community did something truly mind-blowing. They figured out how to merge LoRA with merged models.
Whoa, so they're like stacking these techniques on top of each other.
Exactly.
It's almost like they're in a race to see who can make the most realistic AI images.
Yeah.
But isn't this merging stuff just making AI art look even more artificial? Like those weird early deepfakes and stuff?
That's a great question, and it might seem counterintuitive, but the opposite is actually happening. The art created with these techniques starts to look less like typical AI. It's breaking down those traditional identifiers that we used to have, making it even harder to tell what's real and what's not.
So how real are we talking? Like, can you actually mistake these images for real photos?
Yeah.
ByCloud mentioned being fooled at first, right?
He did, and it highlights just how convincing these images can be. The level of detail, the lighting, the textures, it's incredible. You might look at an image and think it's a photo of a real person, only to find out later that it was entirely generated by AI.
That's both impressive and a little unnerving, to be honest.
Yeah.
This LoRA thing sounds really powerful, but it also feels a bit scary. Can you kind of explain why?
Well, think about it. With LoRA, you could potentially be realistically inserted into any scenario, just with a few of your pictures.
Oh, no.
It raises some pretty big questions about control and consent in the digital age.
Right? So what happens when AI can create images this real, I mean, think about it, cosplayers, Instagram influencers, and what if anyone can create a perfect personalized image of a celebrity doing anything they want?
Yeah, it definitely raises a lot of ethical and societal questions. And remember ControlNet,
Oh, yeah.
which we touched on in a previous episode, that allows for even more precise control over image generation, posing subjects, controlling lighting, all sorts of things. Combine that level of control with the hyperrealism that we're seeing through merging and LoRA,
Right.
and the implications are significant. It's almost like we're stepping into like a sci-fi movie,
Right.
where the lines between reality and simulation just become totally blurred.
Yeah, and not necessarily in like a good way.
Right.
On one hand, it's incredible, but on the other hand, it's like, whoa, this could be used for some shady stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides to this coin.
Yeah.
And one of the big questions that a lot of people are asking is, what does this mean for artists?
Yeah.
Are they going to be replaced by AI?
Right. Because if anyone can just create like a stunning image in a couple clicks, what happens to all the training and skill that these artists have been honing for years?
It's interesting, how do we ensure that artists aren't left behind in this whole AI art revolution? Think about it, like every major technological advancement that's happened has always come with its share of anxieties and challenges.
Right.
Photography didn't replace painting, and film didn't kill theater.
So you're saying AI is just another tool in the toolbox?
In a way, yeah. It's a tool that can be used for good or bad, just like any other tool.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's up to the human artist to decide how to use it, how to give it meaning and purpose.
I like that perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing, but it's about working alongside AI.
Exactly.
Maybe even collaborating with it.
Yeah.
Like imagine an artist using AI to generate these complex textures or patterns that would take some hours to do by hand.
Right.
It would free them up to focus on like the conceptual aspects of their work.
Exactly. That collaboration can lead to some really fascinating results.
Oh, yeah.
And let's not forget about the potential impact on other industries.
Right.
Advertising, fashion architecture.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to create entire virtual fashion shows or design buildings in a matter of minutes.
It's mind-boggling. The
Yeah.
possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
But with these possibilities come the pitfalls.
Of course.
We've already talked about deepfakes and misinformation.
Right.
But as AI images become even more real and even more indistinguishable, that ability to deceive and manipulate just becomes even more potent.
Absolutely. Think about your own social media feed.
Yeah.
How many of those images could be AI generated?
Oh my God.
And would you even know?
Right.
We're entering this era where critical thinking and media literacy are just so important.
Totally.
We need to be able to discern fact from fiction.
Yeah.
We have to question what we see and what we hear.
It's like that saying, the best lies are mixed with truth.
Exactly.
So if we can't tell what's real anymore, how do we know what to believe?
That is the million-dollar question. It's not even just about the technology itself, but how we as a society adapt to it.
Right.
We need to recognize the potential benefits, but at the same time be aware of the risks.
This all feels very complex.
It is.
It's not just about the cool images anymore. It's about like the future of truth.
Right.
And how we perceive reality itself.
Yeah.
Speaking of perception, I think we need to address the emotional impact of all of this.
Okay.
Like if we're constantly surrounded by images that are so real, so perfect, how does that affect our sense of self, our relationships with each other, even our understanding of beauty?
Yeah, that's a crucial point, and it's something that psychologists and sociologists are really just starting to explore.
Yeah.
There's a concern that this constant exposure to this hyper-realistic imagery could lead to all sorts of things, like unrealistic expectations, body image issues, even social isolation.
Yeah, it's almost like we're creating this virtual world that's so flawless, so idealized, that the real world just pales in comparison. We're already seeing it with social media, where these carefully curated images just create this sense of inadequacy
Right.
and pressure to conform.
And that can have a really big impact on our mental health and well-being.
Oh, for sure.
So what can we do about it?
Yeah.
How do we navigate this whole new visual landscape without like losing ourselves in the process?
Is it even possible? It feels like we're on this runaway train and we can't get off.
I think that's where this conversation about digital literacy comes back in.
Okay.
We need to be teaching ourselves and future generations to be critical consumers of media,
Yeah.
to understand that what we see online is often a very carefully constructed representation.
Right.
And it's not always a reflection of reality. We need
Yeah.
to remind ourselves that perfection is an illusion.
Yeah.
And beauty exists in imperfection, in diversity, in the messy reality of human experience.
That's beautifully put. And maybe in a strange way, this whole rise of AI image generation could actually help us appreciate the real world even more by highlighting those qualities that make us human.
Exactly.
Our flaws, our imperfections, our emotions, our stories, these are the things that AI, at least for now, can't replicate.
Perhaps in a world of increasingly perfect AI images, maybe it's our imperfections that become our greatest strength.
Yeah.
It is complex and there are no easy answers, but
Yeah.
that's what makes this so fascinating
Absolutely.
and so important to discuss.
Okay, so we've talked about the artistic implications,
Mm-hmm.
the potential for misuse, and the need for critical thinking in this new era of hyper-realistic imagery. But there's another aspect of all this I think we need to address,
Okay.
this idea of control.
Mm.
We've talked about the potential for misuse for deepfakes and misinformation.
Right.
But what about the control that we have over our own images,
Right.
our own identities in this new digital landscape?
Yeah, that's a crucial question, especially in the age of LoRA, where anyone with the right skills and data can train a model on your likeness.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder who owns your image in the digital world and what can you do to protect it?
It's a bit unsettling, to be honest.
It is. There are no easy answers, but at least the conversation is starting to happen.
Okay.
And that's a step in the right direction.
I hope so. Because as AI image generation becomes more accessible and more powerful, the stakes are only going to get higher.
Absolutely.
Deep divers, we're back. And this whole conversation has really got me thinking. It's like we're standing at the edge of something massive.
It does, doesn't it? It feels like we're witnessing this paradigm shift in how we create images and perceive them and like reality itself.
And that's what's so fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not just about the technology, it's about what it means to be human in a world where seeing is no longer believing.
It goes back to what ByCloud said in his video. Like, this is a wave we can't escape.
Right.
We can't ignore it or pretend it's not happening. We have to engage with it.
So where do we even begin? It feels so overwhelming. Do we just like surrender to the AI overlords and let them create our reality?
That's a bit dramatic, but I get what you mean. But think about it. Every major technological shift has come with challenges and opportunities, the printing press, the internet, social media. All these innovations disrupted things, forced us to adapt, and ultimately led to new ways of thinking and being.
So we need to approach this with cautious optimism.
Exactly.
Acknowledge the potential dangers, but be open to the possibilities.
Yeah. We need to be aware of the risks, but also open to the ways this technology can improve our lives. Maybe make us more creative. And who knows, maybe even help us understand ourselves better.
You know, one thing that's given me hope throughout this whole deep dive is seeing how the AI community is approaching this.
Yeah.
They're sharing ideas, working together, pushing the boundaries. It feels like this collective exploration.
It's been amazing to see. It shows that we're not just accepting whatever technology throws at us. We're shaping it, questioning it, challenging it.
And that's crucial because in the end, the future of AI is not predetermined.
Right.
It's something we build together through our choices and actions and discussions.
Well said. And those conversations need to happen everywhere.
Yeah. Within the AI community, policymakers, classrooms, dinner tables, we have to talk about the ethics, the social impact, the philosophical questions that come with this technology.
So deep divers, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Don't be afraid to engage with this technology.
Yes.
Learn about it, experiment with it, talk about it. Share your thoughts, your concerns, your hopes for the future.
Because the more we understand it, the better equipped we'll be to navigate what's ahead. It's a journey we're all on together, and it's only just beginning.
Thanks for diving in with us.